What's poppin', guys? Hope you guys have an amazing day. Today for you guys, we're going to be looking at a full-on breakdown of the entire Hogwarts school curriculum. So let's start. Before we start though, I just want to say that the first year, because I'm going to be explaining the entire first year and the highlights of it, the first year is going to be more longer than the rest of them. And yeah, so let's start. So in the first year, the students don't get a choice to choose different subjects, and it's compulsory to take all 7 core subjects as well as flying classes. Charms is taught by Professor Flitwick, and he mainly teaches how to cast charms, especially the basics and mainly on how to change what someone does or something does. Charms is and then Transfiguration is taught by Professor McGonagall, and students are taught how to change something or how it looks instead of doing something. One of the examples that they teach in the first year is called the Avifor spell. And in Potions class, which is of course taught by the one and only Severus Snape as well as Slughorn actually. And potions is not something to kind of define. So basically Snape taught them various, simple basic potions, cures and diseases and more like that. Some of which included the Forgetfulness Potion as well as the Cure for Bolus Potion. History of Magic is regarded as one of the most boring subjects of all time, at least by Harry and Ron, and it's taught by a ghost called Professor Binns. It's fascinating to hear the history, but however, even in the Wizarding world, history still does put the youth to sleep. Some of the main topics and the focal points in the year were the Gargoyle Strike in 1991 and the Werewolf Code of Conduct. Astronomy is a subject that is no different from the Muggle astronomy. It is science of where the entire class look at the whole world as a topic, as well as the study of the stars. However, there is a very fascinating fact. The class is meant to stay up late midnight, as astronomy classes take place midnight at every Wednesday, which kind of sucks to keep 11-year-old that late up. Also, I hope they have classes a bit later so they can catch up on their sleep. Or why not do it on Friday or Saturday, because it's always going to be a weekend, right? I mean, come on. Herbology is next, and it's the subject to learn about magical plants. Professor Sprout taught the class about the infamous Mandrake and the Devil's Snare, just to name a few. Defense Against the Dark Arts is the class which Harry was best at. This subject teaches you how to cast spells to defend yourself from unfriendly spells, creatures, arts, or, anything else like charms or anything. This subject, however, is said to be cursed every year for whatever reason the teacher would leave or breathe his last, and another would come the next year. And this is actually because of Voldemort. And then the next one is the flying classes. This is the 8th subject they have because it's not one of the 7 core, but first years all are compulsory to have it. So the flying classes, so it teaches the flying classes, Madam Hooch teaches the students how to actually use and properly care and ride a broomstick, as well as the laws in it and how to, properly follow those laws. The second year. During the second year, the schedule actually stays mostly the same. They have to take 7 core subjects, as we know. They are Charms, Defense Against the Dark Arts, Transfiguration, Potions, History of Magic, Astronomy, and Herbology. Flying is not a core subject, but flying also is not required or compulsory as a subject anymore. However, kids who want to represent their house or just go down a Quidditch path or even just want to have fun and find it important, they can still choose it as well. Some topics done in this year are the freezing charm called Immobilis, and turning beetles into buttons, leaping toadstools, the side-arming charm called Expelliarmus, and the sleeping drought. In the third year, students also now have to choose 2 extra classes which are not part of the main core 7 to have as well. So 9 classes in total at minimum, as you can select and elect more if you want. Hermione ended up becoming immensely stressed because she pretty much picked every single subject along with the main 7, and so she had to use a time turner to actually get through her classes because she has so many. The classes that students can choose from which are extra is Artmancy, Care of Magical Creatures. In Care of Magical Creatures, students learn how to care, maintain, feed, and treat magical creatures. When the trio took the class, Hagrid was the teacher, but there are a lot of other teachers. Another one is the Ancient Runes. This class involves studying old runes used by wizards and witches a long time ago. Divination. Professor McGonagall definitely is not a big fan, as she calls it a very imprecise branch of music. It includes predicting the future, and like I said, I'm pretty sure everybody understands what McGonagall means exactly by imprecise, right? Students have to frickin' learn how to predict the future from palms, crystal balls, and frickin' tea leaves. How the hell do you do that? Another one though you could choose is Muggle Studies, and well, this one shows the wizards and witches about the Muggle world and the Muggle studies and what we learn as Muggles. Fourth year. I don't even know if Harry even goes to his classes in the fourth year because he's probably more busy trying to dodge fire that dragons are breathing out and being in a maze with all sorts of creatures in it. But students that actually get through and actually get to change their elected subjects from the third year. And that's like the most interesting thing about this year. There's literally nothing else interesting. The fifth year, so this is one of the biggest years for the students. This is when the students have to kind of get an idea of what they want to do with their life and what job they want to get. And they're going to be having their OWL exams. And they meet their house of head and have a discussion on what they want to be and what path they want to choose, and the house of head responds by listing how hard it is and what grades you need to get for that job in your OWL exams. Also, they have these examinations, as I said before, OWLs, and they're incredibly important. These are really important exams in which they like study really, really hard because these exams grades matter in which job you're getting. In the sixth year, based on your grades and marks on the OWLs, your newts get affected. Newts are exams that you take in your seventh year, and those newts in the end are going to give you your final marks and to decide what job you'll get picked in. Also, if you pick a subject on your sixth year, you have to pick it for newts as well, and for your entire seventh year. Seventh year. Even though the triad don't actually complete their seventh year, it's not actually true because Hermione goes back to finish it off, while Ron and Hermione don't. Sorry, Ron and Harry don't. At the end of the year, students actually choose whether to take their newts or not. As some jobs, it is rare, but some occupations are just fine to judge you on your owls. There is actually a 7th year graduation ceremony, if you know it or not. The 7th year graduation ceremony is pretty cool because the 7th year students leave Hogwarts by riding the boats and going onto the boats which once 7 years ago brought them to Hogwarts. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and hit that like button. If you want more breakdowns, then put it down in the comments below. And until next time, see ya.